Team Brief this month comes from the brand new IT suite at Lee Infirmary. And you can see here on either side of me the great storage units that contain all of the Trust's information. Now, at the end of this podcast, I'm going to be meeting Gary Harris, the manager of the department here, and I'll be asking him how much storage was needed just 10 years ago. I'll also be asking him how many phone calls a year are made from the Trust telephones to mobile calls, and who in his department is famous for dancing. This month's corporate objective is the performance one, which is quite simply to meet all of our performance and financial targets in full. And of course, as this is the March Team Brief, this is the year-end report now, because the NHS year runs from the 1st of April to the 31st of March. So I'm really pleased to be able to say that we have met all of our targets in full. We are top in the whole of Greater Manchester across the performance targets, second in Greater Manchester for all of the quality targets, and we are top in the whole of the North West for our A&E performance. We've met our targets for C. diff and MRSA and for 18 weeks. So this has been an extraordinarily successful year, and I'd like to take this opportunity of thanking everybody in the Trust for their contribution to this success. Now the monthly data, and on infection rates we've had no cases of MRSA, just 1 C. diff, 1 MSSA and 3 E. coli. However, slightly more disappointingly, the latest monthly figure for mortality, which is for January 2013, was 102.4, so going above 100 for the first time in about 8 months. Showing you this now on the charts, you can see here the figure that you've been seeing all year long, and the orange line shows how we just managed to stay underneath our control total for the year. But you can now see for the first time the target for next year, the bottom dotted line, and that shows that yet again we've got to have a dramatic reduction in our C. diff down to no more than 25 cases for the entire year. Here now is the HSMR chart, and you can see in the bottom right hand corner the latest month, which comes after 8 months of consistently being below 100, and the performance for the year to date is 93.9. The number of serious harms last month was 9. This consisted of no never events, 5 serious infections, 2 pressure ulcers, 2 serious falls, and no cases of ventilator-acquired pneumonia or central line infection. Now, moving to another safety issue, I want to just talk about IT security. And there have been a few incidents recently of staff being found to have shared their passwords or usernames. Now, you really must not do this, and this is all about protecting the confidentiality of data. So please don't share your passwords or usernames. If you want to see the full policy on IT security, it is available on the intranet. Moving on to effectiveness. Everybody working in the unscheduled care system will know that March was very, very difficult indeed. Like most of the rest of the country, the Accident and Emergency Department had much higher volumes than usual and a very difficult time achieving the performance standards. Nonetheless, you can see from this chart here that WWL is still the top performing A&E department in the whole of the North West, so congratulations to everybody working in that sector. Now, it's also been another good month financially to bring us to a successful financial year end. We've achieved a surplus this year of £4.1 million, and that's £100,000 better than the budget we set. We've achieved a CIP of £9 million and a record year for capital expenditure of £16.6 million. So this has given us the second best financial risk rating, 1 of 4, and it's been an excellent year financially for the Trust, despite the economic environment. So again, thank you and well done to everybody. There's not a great deal to report on service and site investment this month, although everything remains on track and the new temporary car park adjacent to Wrightington Hall has now been completed. But I do want to draw the attention of budget managers to some finance awareness training. The next session is on the 24th of May, and this is at the decontamination unit at Lostock near Bolton. And if you're interested in going on that, then just go onto this email address here and you can get more details. Moving on to the caring section, the family and friends test, which has been being piloted in the Trust over the last few months very successfully, has gone live since the 1st of April. So can I just remind all staff that have the opportunity to give the cards to patients and ask them to fill them in. Now, a few things to report around the Trust. First of all, a success on health and well-being, where we have now officially received the Wellbeing Achievement Standard. So congratulations to everybody on the Health and Wellbeing Committee for this important work about staff well-being. Congratulations also to our catering department, and at the recent National Catering Conference we received the Highly Commended Award for the work we're doing on healthy menus and healthy food. So this is really important both for our staff and our patients, so thank you to everybody in the catering department. And finally, the March Employee of the Month is Rachel Robinson, who is the Administrator in Therapy Services. Now, Rachel has been commended by her colleagues for many issues, but in particular for her skill at dealing with patients. There have been many occasions where difficult situations have been diffused by her helpful and cheerful manner, and she's always gone the extra mile to make patients feel comfortable. So many congratulations and thanks to Rachel. Here I am with the Head of IT Services, Gary Harris. So Gary, what are the main functions of the IT department?
IT Services looks after all the technology use throughout the organisation. We have two main functions. The first one is to keep our existing IT systems and services running 24/7, and secondly to ensure all new IT developments are compatible with existing IT infrastructure. Our services cover desktops and mobile devices. We look after all the networks in use throughout the Trust. We look after all the systems and storage infrastructure at the back end, and that's basically what our services are all about.
And what have been the main changes in the last 12 months?
IT Services has got a fantastic state-of-the-art data centre here at the infirmary. We've also deployed some of the latest technologies, a type of technology called virtualisation. One server can now do the same work as 20 previously. We've also moved towards a commercialisation model. We now have recently won a contract with Greater Manchester CSU for the provision or for the hosting of all their IT infrastructure.
What are you most proud of in IT?
I think proud of the staff really, my team as a whole. But I'm really fortunate to have such a dedicated and committed team. They always go the extra mile and they always put patient care as a priority. So any issues we have within infrastructure which are affecting looking after patients, that always takes high priority. I'm also proud of the IT relocation project, where we relocated from Bryan House in Wigan Town Centre to Lee Infirmary without any adverse impact to patients and staff. That project went really well. It came in slightly ahead of schedule, and also the staff, the team themselves, worked an extra 1,400 hours during a 6-month period.
What problems and pressures do you and your staff face?
IT Services is a very small team with a very large IT agenda, and on occasions backlogs occur. Presently we've got a backlog with our existing service requests, and we are recruiting additional resources to help eliminate that backlog. So please, if you experience any unusual delays, we're doing as much as we can to actually get to you.
Have you got any personal good news stories from the IT department?
Yes, one of the members of the IT Services team, our IT change manager, Steve Wood, has recently been appointed as the voice of the Trust, and it's his smooth tones call us to the organisation here. We'd like to welcome back Joanne Garbutt, who's returned from a period of maternity leave after the birth of her son Mason. And we've got a departmental first. We've got a wedding between two members of the IT Services team, Helena Hughes and Michael Overend.
And what are the main changes we can look forward to over the next 12 months?
There's a really exciting time within IT over the next 12 months. We've got some fantastic clinical developments coming. We'll be supporting the implementation of the new hospital information system. We'll be looking at supporting the critical care system and also the pharmacy replacement system. We've got some brand new technology called virtual desktop infrastructure which we're looking to roll out. That will allow us to create a Windows 7 based desktop infrastructure on a different type of device, which will improve performance and speed. We're also looking at a major telephony upgrade and a bleep system upgrade.
Now Gary, here are my 3 quiz questions. At the start of this video I was in the IT storage room with the impressive racks of servers. Now if I were to go back 10 years, how much IT storage space would have been needed to store the entire Trust's IT system?
10 years ago, we could have got the whole of the Trust data on a 2 GB memory stick.
And secondly, how many phone calls were made from Trust landlines to mobile phones last year?
Last year, we made 327,000.
And who is it in the IT department that's become famous for dancing?
That'll be Dawn Morris, our service desk team leader. She's a fantastic ballroom dancer.